talking about just football being back. August 1st here. We turned the page on July. Dog days of summer are over, and we're ready here for the actual season. Welcome back, my friend. I'm happy that this is the case.
Yeah, me too. And I'm also glad to, just finally realize that football is back. And happy August, too. August 1st, that's, new month, halfway through the year. And I'm really excited to see, a little football tonight between the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears. But I don't think Caleb Williams will be seeing some action tonight with the Bears. Am I correct on that?
No, you are correct on that. That's exactly right. ABC will have it. 6 o'clock, it'll get underway. Houston versus Chicago in the Hall of Fame game today. You said halfway done with the season. We're like third quarter right now. We're like what? Third quarter action. This is crunch time here for the actual year itself of 2024, but it zoomed past us, man. I mean, we're already here. It felt like yesterday we were signing off on the Super Bowl Radio Row broadcast. We were recapping the Kansas City Chiefs defeating the San Francisco 49ers for the Super Bowl out in Las Vegas, and now we are back, and we are ready for the road to New Orleans. It really starts tonight, man. August 1st, Houston, Chicago. I'm ready. I'm just excited that we're talking about football here today.
Yeah, me too. I love football. It's my sport. I think my articles speak for themselves on that, and I'm really excited to see both these teams, actually. I think these are two intriguing teams heading into the 2024 to 25 regular season. The Bears with Caleb Williams, number 1 overall pick under center. The Texans looking to take off with the moves they made in the offseason with, Joe Mixon coming in from Cincy, Stephon Diggs pairing up with C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell coming back. I mean, these are two teams that I think will be fun to watch this year.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. And not to mention with all the Olympics that are going on as well. It's been a busy day for Olympics. In fact, we're watching some beach volleyball right now. Team USA in action. Big one for Team USA. I was just at UTEP volleyball with UTEP Zay, actually, talking with head coach Ben Wallace, Kaya as well, out with UTEP volleyball. And they had it on. They were watching, beach volleyball here right now. That was big for them. How about U.S. women clinching a spot in the quarterfinals today? A big one for them. Sabrina Ionescu, saying that wrong, but they beat Belgium today, 87-74. Olympics heating up in a big way. And yeah, man, Ledecky winning her 13th medal. Another day we get a chance to talk Katie Ledecky. That's always a good thing as well there, Michael.
Yeah, Ledecky has been incredible this whole Olympics. I'm really glad to see that she's also going to be continuing. She shut those retirement narratives down and, has her eyes set for LA in 2028. So really, it's great to see Katie Ledecky just do her thing.
Hey, golf is back right now. Le Golf National out in Paris, France. Hideki Matsuyama leading the way, 8 under for Team Japan. Xander Schauffele right behind him at 6 under for Team USA. By the way, Scotty Scheffler sniffing that top 5. He's 6th overall right now at 4 under. I've been reading about this one right here, Michael. It's not necessary. It's one that the European tour really enjoys. This golf course, the Europeans really like this one right here. For the U.S. players, I'm curious to see how they do. Right now, it's Joaquin Niemann in 3rd. He's tied with for 3rd, along with guys like Tom Kim. But this should be interesting too, man. I mean, I was saying it earlier in the week, I believe, that I'm not going to care a lot about some of these golf storylines now that we've turned the page on the Open. But now that we get a chance to talk a little Olympic golf, I'm pretty cool with it, man. What about you?
I'm pretty cool with it too. Golf is my sport, and out of all the sports being played right now in the Olympics, I would say golf is the most one I could, get my hands on. So I'm a big golfer myself, and I like to watch it. And it's really cool to, see these American golfers in these, different countries getting, to experience these different courses, because these are some beautiful courses, really beautiful ones. And how about another American swimmer, Kate Douglas, going gold too? That was a pretty big moment for her as well.
Yeah, great point. And I'm glad you mentioned her. Speaking of more, how about the fact that Sha'Carri Richardson, she debuted. It's now the USA versus Jamaica out in track and field. That's going to be really interesting to watch. U.S. basketball lineups, that's the big concern right now. They killed South Sudan. But, one of the things that they've been really looking at right now is the fact that this team right here, rotation-wise, isn't really fluid. that's kind of one of the things that we're hearing right now from that lineup in the rotation. Now, as far as overall medal leaders, U.S. leads the way, 37 overall medals. In fact, the U.S. is right behind China in terms of gold medals. China's got 11. The U.S. has 9. France has 8. So in terms of medal trackers, Michael, they're hanging in right now. USA, 10 over France right now for overall medals. And then as far as gold, U.S. right behind China, in 2 behind them for 9 gold medals to China's 11.
Yeah, China's also done very well for themselves. To your point about having 11 gold medals now, I mean, they've been killing it themselves, and they've been in the top 3 for the medal count basically since the whole thing has started. But the Americans, man, they just keep fighting. And what would you say the sport they've been the most dominant at so far? I feel like swimming is the...
Yeah, I would agree. Swimming is a good one. That's probably the one that I'm going there. It's good. Djokovic, speaking of different sports, he actually got hurt today. They thought it was pretty serious. He ends up hanging
his knee,
in.
Right?
Yeah, and now he's a little worried about his knee as far as maybe like a meniscus tear or something like that. Speaking of Mike Trout's meniscus, for Djokovic, hopefully that's not the case. Alcaraz is going to the semifinals. I feel like he's the guy to beat. So going to be interesting to see what happens there, but you never want to see that, especially in the Olympics, man. This is where you want to see as much injury-free competition as possible.
Yeah, of course not. Injuries are a terrible thing, and it's the worst possible thing that could happen to an athlete, especially meniscus tears. I mean, especially for a guy like Mike Trout, too. I mean, his whole career with the Angels, he's been incredible, one of the best players in the league, and just to see that Angels franchise turn into what it has over the past couple years, losing Shohei, Anthony Rendon not working out, trying to, give Shohei and Mike Trout a third bat, but that didn't work out. So it's kind of really sad to see the Angels turn into what they are now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we got to unpack this one a little bit more, right? I mentioned this in SportsCenter, but you tell me, how are you going to remember Mike Trout as a baseball player with this Angels club?
Well, I'm going to remember Mike Trout for his amazing plays in the outfield. I mean, he's incredible with the way he makes those catches and just the power he has. I mean, Mike Trout's got a great bat, and he forever will have one, and I really, really hope that he can, stay healthy, because I would like to see him get on that field again, just like anyone else would.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that, man. Hey, Steve Kaplowitz will be joining us here soon enough. He'll be joining us here probably into our second hour of the program. And then we might get a chance to talk with Jesse Tovar from Prep One. They've got a big event coming up this weekend. They also have Media Day Sunday, August 18th, so we'll talk a little Prep One here on the program today with some high school football. We're also going to get a chance to talk El Paso Chihuahuas baseball. Tonight's the big one. Walker Buehler on the mound for the Oklahoma City Baseball Club. How about that? And then Kate Flannery, she joined us earlier in here on Sports Talk. She is Meredith from The Office, and she'll be out tonight at the ballpark signing autographs. Get there early. I know she's doing a special VIP meet and greet as well, but going to be a lot of fun out at the ballpark tonight. How about Walker Buehler coming out tonight? Michael, that's huge stuff.
Huge stuff. It's always great to see these stars come back to El Paso when they're doing their rehab assignments. It's always such a cool thing to see. It fills the seats, it gets people out to the ballpark, and that's what we want to see. And I think we're going to see the same thing happen tonight, especially with Kate Flannery being there, how much Office fans are out, Walker Buehler working his way back, and of course, we almost got to see Clayton Kershaw, but unfortunately we're just cut short by that.
Just cut short. Hey, our telephone number, 915-505-6009. Just getting things started here on a Thursday afternoon. 600 ESPN El Paso on Twitter and X. Check out our website, 600ESPNElPaso.com. Michael's got up the AFC West ceiling floor analysis, team-by-team comparison. You could check out that story as well. He's helping me co-host here on the program to start things off. And then, like I mentioned, we'll have a little Jesse Tovar joining us here soon enough. But let's go out to the phones right now. Let's get it started right, and it is Gator Richard. He is joining us first here as we get things started. Gator Richard, go Gators. What's going on?
Hello, go Gators.
What's happening, man? What's going on?
Hey, first of all, your cohort there, Shohei left the Angels not because of choice. Okay, Angels the money, so you gotta make sure you get that right.
Fair. Hey, and look at what he's doing right now, man. He's like MVP candidate right now on the NL side.
Yeah, just think if he was throwing the ball right now too.
Right? Can you imagine that? He's
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he's
hadn't-
already
he
a
hadn't
unicorn as it is, but I mean,
He hadn't
that'd be
pitched
awesome.
at all this. Who knows? If they made the playoffs, who knows? I'll bet you he might even show up on the bump.
You know, actually, I kind of like that idea, especially if it's do or die. We saw, I mean, okay, this sounds pretty novice of me to say, but we saw what he did in the World Baseball Classic in like a critical moment against his former teammate and Mike Trout. So if it's like a big moment, why not throw him out there?
They were still teammates at the time.
Yes, no, I knew that. But I mean, what I'm saying is, you know, he could step in critical moments, critical situations, and maybe, I don't know, close out a game, give you a couple innings of strong pitching. I could see it happening. Why not?
Well, he's the $700 billion, $700 million guy. I don't know if you want to bring him in to close a game.
It's all prorated, right?
Well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's still money. Okay, whether it's prorated to the end of the contract or not. But for right now, his first year, he's already got MVP numbers up. But if they make the playoffs and he's good with throwing, I mean, that might be a ace in the hole, you know. If they make the playoffs, or like a Game 7 or something, and then, you know, he just gets out there and there's nothing.
I think we need to see more things like that. I think we need to see Shohei get on the mound in a critical moment. I think we need to, you know, there's so much politics when it comes to baseball. Oh, no, if we said that he's not pitching this year, he's not pitching this entire season. Maybe they have some kind of a plan in the back of the Dodgers front office's head or anything like that. But I'd be curious to see if they'd explore something like that, Gator Richard. I mean, it's an interesting point. All right, any football talk? Are we there yet for you, or are we still in full baseball mode? Shohei Ohtani mode.
I'm ready to talk some Gator football.
Okay, what are we thinking this year? How are we thinking?
You know who they're playing November 11, right?
Texas?
I think it's November 11. Look it up, man.
Okay, I love it.
Now that's the game to watch, because that's the welcome to the SEC by the Florida Gators. You know, the first game Texas A&M played, that was against Johnny Football, and the Gators came down to College Station and got a W. So,
sure.
You know, the Gators are going to have a hell of a year this year, and I think this is the year that they beat everybody.
Really?
Okay? I'm talking. They're going to beat up on Georgia. They're going to beat up on the SEC champion, whoever they face. Okay, so I think this is it, because this coach is he's been doing a so-so job, but if he doesn't get like something spectacular this year, unlike UTEP, who's going to sit there and go, well, he's still kind of under contract. You know, we don't want to get rid of a Bobby Walden just yet. You know what I mean? So
it's not even year one.
Well, yeah, and you know, I know what's going to happen with this Walden fella.
Okay.
But if he sticks out anywhere close to his contract, first of all, he's going to end up in a divorce, because you guys done put out there how much he makes a year. So, you know, so he's going to put her claws in him and break up that marriage.
Oh my gosh! Why are you saying this? Why are you saying this? That's not going to happen. Can we get some on-field predictions? Off the field, let's not even try to speculate where we're going.
Okay.
Can we get some on-field predictions?
On-field, I give UTEP maybe 3 wins. 3 wins.
You know, honestly, given how difficult their schedule looks, I think that's that's pretty fair. I feel like 3 wins. Maybe 4 wins. That's probably the right number right there, Gator Richard. Hey, I appreciate the phone call, man. I let you go with 2 topics today. You added some good stuff to the show. I really appreciate you as always, but we got to get to Charlie 1, who's standing by. He's got our first traffic update of the afternoon. We're going to get to Jesse Tovar here from Prep 1 here in just a little bit. Stay with us. Sports Talk continues right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Everybody, Double Eagle dining deal tomorrow. That's right. You can take advantage of $50 to the Double Eagle out in Old Messiah for just $25. Check out the must-read bar on 600ESPNElPaso.com tomorrow. 10 a.m. is when those will go on sale. Hey, Gator Richard wanted to talk a big game about Gator football. Hey, rightfully so. They're playing out of the SEC. I get it. This is going to be a weird college football season. I just was previewing the SEC on my side, Michael, and I'm looking at it right now. Georgia's going to be the team to beat. But behind Georgia, how biased am I if I'm saying Texas is like one of the other teams to beat? Because look at all the talent and production they bring back. It's Quinn Ewers leading the way at the quarterback spot. They've got great defense, man. They got Barron in the backfield, Jahadi Barron, who I love as a DB. He's going to be playing in the NFL next year. Yeah, Alfred Collins. There's also Brandon Brown. Those are the two up front that I love from Texas's team. You don't forget about their linebacker, Anthony Hill. He's fantastic. Then you talk about more of their offensive players. I mean, think about Isaiah Bond. He's been a fantastic wide receiver. He's returning to their team. They've got a very experienced offensive line led by Kelvin Banks. He's going to be playing in the NFL as well. So, in my opinion, it's like Georgia, Texas. Those are kind of the two teams to beat right there. Maybe throw Alabama just based on Jalen Milroe alone and pedigree alone. You could throw a couple other dark horses into the mix, but the SEC seems fascinating to me.
I do too, and I would say that Georgia and Texas, I would say, are the top dogs right now, I'd say, of the SEC. But going back to the Florida Gators, I'm really interested to see what goes down in Gainesville this year, because that schedule is very difficult when you look at it. And Billy Napier, we'll see how he responds to that. And it's just, I think it's going to be it could be a very tough year for the Gators if things don't go right.
Well, they're going to fire him if things don't go right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right there. Joe from the Northeast is joining us next. If you want to get in on this college football conversation, 915-505-6009. We'll localize it and talk some UTEP football here when Steve comes by. We got a lot to break down with UTEP football. I was out there at practice today. A lot to unpack from it. Got a chance to get a first taste and first glimpse of the quarterback battle, so we'll get into all that here later on in the program. But first, let's go to Joe from the Northeast. Joe, what's happening, man? What's going on?
All right. I'm going to do the lead course, though, not so fast.
All right, let's give it to me.
Okay. Did you watch the Oklahoma game? They went 80 yards in 1 minute.
Yes, yes.
And then Michael Penix carved them up like a bad turkey, and it wasn't until the fourth quarter. So I don't know where everybody's talking about this great Texas defense. The only thing I'll say is they are talented. I think when they play Michigan, if Michigan just lines up and shoves the ball down their face, it's going to be a long year. I hope they win. They got the firepower, but I don't see it because I really don't believe they play defense.
So you're thinking that this is all won through the trenches. You're thinking that the winner or a team who's going to be playing up against Texas, all they need to do is run the ball down their throat, and that's how you expose a team like Texas. Maybe take advantage, take control of time of possession. I remember that Oklahoma game. It felt like a nightmare if you're a Texas fan out there. And then you mentioned the Washington game. They get into a shootout with a team like that. Well, hey, that coaching staff went over to Alabama. Maybe they can get into a shootout with a team like Texas this year.
Well, and then also, I know people like Lincoln Riley, but I think the letter D doesn't exist in his alphabet because they don't play defense. And I always hate hearing about USC, the great defensive players they had there, and he's going to be gone because they don't play defense. They're going to be in the Big Ten, and then I forgot my 13. But anyway, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. But I hope they do well. I want them to do well, but I'm not holding my breath. All right.
Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks again for tuning in, and thanks for joining us here, Joe. I appreciate that stuff. Let's keep it moving. 915-505-6009. Ray is next up on the phone lines right now. Ray, good afternoon. What's happening?
Adrian, good afternoon, man. How you doing?
It's great to hear your voice, Ray. What's happening? Are you calling us about training camp? Are you calling us about the Anthony Davis resurgence right here? Are you calling us? What are we talking today? Dodgers?
Well, actually,
Walker Buehler today?
I had something. I'll go backwards than what I was going to say because I was last week. My son and I were out in California coming back from vacation, and we were getting ready to leave on Wednesday. He had to go into some lottery, and he put us in there, and we got lucky to get tickets. And we thought we were going to the Chargers training camp together, but then he got me tickets, and I didn't know, for the Rams training camp because they both happened to be on the same day. Chargers were at their new facility, the Bolts, in Westchester, and then the Rams were out there in Costa Mesa. And so, like, all right, we got to go in two different directions. You go see your Chargers, I'm going to go see my Rams. And, I'm not one to necessarily go out for things like that. 'Cause I'm not a big guy when it comes to preseason and practice and all that, because most of the time, even in baseball, preseason, spring training, because the guys you're watching most of the time you're not even going to see on the field. But it was cool to be out there and see these guys. A lot of them came up. He told me one of the coolest things was that Herbert didn't come up to take autographs and stuff from the people there, but there was a group of kids, about 50 of them, of just kids that were 10 and under. And he went over to all those kids and didn't leave until he signed every one of what those kids had. And I thought that says a lot about him. That's awesome to hear that. Okay. I would have liked to, like my son said, I would have liked to come over to me, and I was waiting for him, and he was wearing his jersey, but he said to see him go over to the kids, that made it all worth it, just to know he's that kind of guy.
I love that. Good story.
And then today we find out, man, Adrian, how cursed is this team that, Herbert now has a foot injury and he's not going to be ready till week 1. What else can go wrong for this team, even when they think this is the year that finally they might catch the Chiefs and be ready to make a strong playoff run? Granted, if he's back week 1 and he's okay, it's the beginning of the season, but wow, I would like to see a preseason season all the way through the postseason for the Chargers go through with no black cloud hanging over them whatsoever.
Well, think about it this way, right? Because it's a plantar fascia that he's dealing with right now. That's not great. The foot injuries are terrible, especially in football, especially in basketball. This is one of those when LeBron gets the plantar fascia, it's like, all right, LeBron could play through this. It's somebody like him who's, taking care of his body. Herbert going on an accelerated, I guess, turnaround right here, because when we're talking about plantar fascia in the right foot right here, man, that's tough. There's zero backup. That's the other part to this. Easton Stick, Max Duggan. Forget about
right
it.
Foot. That right foot is that plant foot. He needs that foot more than the other foot. That's where all the pressure and all the weight's going to go. So hopefully, he's got the right medical team around him to get him through this in the right, proper way. And don't rush him. It's, if it has to be another week or two before he starts, you got a whole season to go, and this is the guy you definitely need on the field to make any kind of impact and make a run at the Chiefs. As far as our team, the Rams, I'm real excited about what they've got and the way they look with that receiving core. I can't wait to see them get out there. They have nothing. As I was reading when I was out there in L.A., nothing but positive vibes and positive print about them and what this season is going to be. Stafford is excited about who he's got to throw to. Everybody there is just, on a even keel as far as like where we're headed and what we're doing. They're all, they know they're going to miss Aaron, but, they've got the guys in place to go after what they want this year. And they're not settling for a great season or let's get over 500 or, well, if we make the playoffs. No, they've got plans to make them do some damage in the playoffs.
So, Ray, here's my thoughts. Here are my Rams training camp thoughts, because I've been following, like you, very closely. I love the fact that, all these contracts disputes are going on across the league. They say as soon as training camp starts or before it even starts, McVay and Stafford say, hey, we're good. We're gonna get this done, and they actually do get it done. He gets an increase, gets some guaranteed money, and they're good. The only worry I have injury-wise is Williams and the cornerback, their cornerback, but, he'll be all right as well. He's got a hamstring injury. Looks like he'll be just fine when it's all said and done. Jackson, one of their newest acquisitions, newest guards, he's out for the preseason. I'm really not concerned about those things right there. I just want to say this, Ray. If this Rams team is better than we all expect, and maybe they have a better record than last year they somehow finished 10-7, would AD consider coming back just for that playoff run, just for the postseason run right there?
I thought the same thing. I'm still holding out hope, and I still think that somewhere down the road, I think he might look at that and say, hey, you know what? It may not take much to get me back out there because of what we got. I don't feel a whole lot of pressure. I don't feel like I have to carry everybody on my shoulders. Hey, this group has really got something. You know what? Let's go do this one. And I don't think anybody is going to shake their head or turn the other way if he says, you know what? Can I come back? Let me open the door for you.
Yeah, I'll pick you up from the airport, Aaron Donald. I'll pick you up from Pittsburgh, and I'll drive you out to L.A. if that's the case, if that's what it requires. Great stuff, Ray. I appreciate the phone call, man. Thanks for weighing in. We got to move along. You give me your thoughts there, Michael. Just Rams training camp, Chargers training camp, and hearing the news about Justin Herbert today, plantar fascia. He's out for pretty much the preseason all the way to week 1.
Well, we all saw what the Chargers were last year when Herbert wasn't playing, and I don't think Jim Harbaugh in his first year with the team does not want to have a season like that, but I really want to see how Harbaugh and Herbert mesh well together because I feel Harbaugh is the right coach for Justin Herbert moving forward, but he's got to get better play out of his receivers, a huge question mark coming into this season. Keenan Allen, gone for Chicago. Mike Williams, gone to the Jets. Now you got second-year player out of TCU, Quentin Johnson. Can he step up to the plate because he had a very disastrous rookie season that he wants to forget about. And then you got rookie Ladd McConkey coming in out of Georgia. I think that's a nice player. I think he's very sneaky and he's a very speedy guy. And I think Herbert and him can build a solid connection there. You got Hayden Hurst coming over from Carolina at the tight end position. And then no Austin Eckler as well. Austin Eckler has gone to Washington. So how is the running back group going to look? You got J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards coming in from Baltimore due to the Joe Ortiz connection, but I really think this Chargers team is going to be interesting to watch, but an Achilles heel for them has always been that defense. Health has played a big factor. Joey Bosa only played 9 games last year. Can he stay healthy? Can him and Khalil Mack create havoc on the defensive line? We'll see. And for the Rams, really excited about your Rams, Adrian. Really excited about them. I think Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are going to terrify opposing cornerbacks. I don't think anybody's going to want to go up against Aaron Donald. Losing Aaron Donald hurts. It does. And you can't replace a guy like that for what he did for the Rams. But I think, Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, 2 teammates at Florida State coming over, they already have that chemistry established. So I feel like that's going to be great for the Rams defensive side. Tre'Davious White, too, in that cornerback room. Don't forget about him. If he can return to his All-Pro days and Pro Bowl days, that's a big move for the Rams there.
You know what I'm kind of I'm thinking about in the back of my head is I'm like, all right, all this sounds great. I'm not really concerned about the Rams scoring. I am really concerned about the Rams defensively. If they play against a team who's going to control the clock, hold the ball, the Rams could score, in an instant. They're
no doubt.
They're a fast team. They move fast. They operate fast. But if we're talking about a slow down team, a slow down approach, I'm a little concerned for them. Are the Chargers the Clippers of the NFL? I mean, they feel like snake bitten no matter what, and the Angels, and it's kind of fitting. They're all the LA
California
teams, right? It's the Clippers. It's the it's this Chargers teams right now that's snake bitten. The Angels team that just basically got raided for all their players with Ohtani basically going over across the street and playing for the Dodgers, the team who has way more marketability. Yeah, man, I feel for those teams. I feel for those LA groups right there. I feel like the Chargers just. I mean, every year I could tell you that they're a Super Bowl contender, and every year they're going to probably fall short of expectations. And then for the Clippers, they're kind of the same team. I have the standard of NBA Finals or bust for that team, and they always fall short. It's injuries. It's whatever kind of excuse you want to put out there. But don't you just feel like those teams are just snake bitten right now? It's bad luck for all those teams right here.
It's bad luck, and maybe they're just cursed, Maybe, I guess this is just what it's meant to be for them. But, for the Chargers, if you look back at the 2022 offseason, they went all in, Adrian. They went all in, giving a 5-year, $85 million to cornerback J.C. Jackson, who was considered a top 5 cornerback at the time. And 2 years into that deal, he was already cut midseason, and J.C. Jackson is nowhere to be seen now. So that move blew up in their face. Getting Khalil Mack, to help prove as a nice compliment to Joey Bosa and to help, fix a poor run defense, it got worse. It got worse, and Eric Kendricks coming in last year didn't help out either, and now he's gone to Dallas. So this Chargers group, I don't think they're going to have a great first season under Harbaugh. I think it's going to be, take a little time to get, adjusted to a new environment and system, but I like this team moving forward. As for the Clippers, I can just, look at them and shake my head. Paul George gone to Philly. That experiment with Kawhi didn't work out. Now Kawhi, is he going to return to that same form again, given all his lengthy injury history that he's had to deal with as of late? But California teams, the teams that can really only say they got much going for them right now are, I mean, the Warriors, they can look back on their glory days because those are quickly coming to an end soon. Klay Thompson's gone, and, can Curry carry this team forever? So, I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty for a lot of those teams.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting for sure. Hey, let's do this. Let's take a break right here. Love the call. Love the calls here. The run of calls that we had. Really appreciate everybody chiming in. When we come back, Jesse Tovar, Prep 1. That's next. Stay with us. Sports Talk continues right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. High school football students and high school football athletes along with Prep 1 all together in one remembrance and one honoring. Welcome back and welcome aboard. Thanks again for joining us.
No. It's always awesome to come, I guess, home, right? I've been here. This is where it all started. But, yeah, no, man, it's the 5th anniversary of our shooting, our tragic situation out there at the Walmart shooting. And year one, the players made it happen. The athletes were asking, can we do something? And we all got together at El Paso High and just supported each other. And it's kind of like an impromptu. It starts off the high school football season, all of us being on one team.
It's been a really good offseason for a lot of El Pasoans. We've seen high school athletes get recruited all at the Power 4 levels. I mean, Manny Fuller just announced recently that he is committed to Utah. Huge news. Jake Fetty, sensational quarterback for Del Valle. He just picked up one of his most recent offers going to Kansas. So huge stuff for him. But how have you seen the offseason right here? I mean, I'm only talking football. You deal with all sports at Prep 1. What are you seeing right now as far as the offseason?
There's a lot of traction, right? I know right now the NCAA is like shifting. They're changing the rules. A lot of like NIL stuff going on. So it's an ever-changing realm. So 1 month you're reading about this is going to happen, limiting scholarships. I believe soccer is going to be impacted pretty soon, where they're only going to be able to have 28 athletes on their roster. Some coaches are able to stretch that out. So it's just things that are developing. But as far as football here, man, I mean, it's time. We've all been waiting for. Shout out to all the like you said, all the athletes that are working hard, and the Davion Singletons, Justin Morales, Jake Fetty, all those guys that are picking up Ryan Estrada, all those studs that are picking up all those Power 5 or Power 4 now.
Yeah.
Power 4 offers.
No doubt about it. And hey, for all our listeners right now, Jesse, who are listening to you, and maybe they're wondering, well, what is Prep 1? Give us a background. Give us the history of it. This is year 5, year 6, if I'm not mistaken.
We're in the midst of year 6, and I started in 2018 with a cell phone, an iPhone 7 and a shirt. And it's grown to where we're at right now. We just had our Summer City Lights shoots. We had our football camp a couple of weeks ago. But it was designed to help the athletes and families navigate through the recruiting process. We mentor, we advise, we strategize with the athletes because there's just so many components that goes into the recruiting, the recruiting process that families don't know. And sometimes athletes, they have to be talk to and you have to be very direct to them and letting them know, but transparent as far as what the expectations are.
Tell us a little bit about the event that's coming up this Saturday. What do we need to know for it? How can we get involved? And where can we find information on it?
Well, this Saturday, we just got the clearance like 48 hours ago. It's always traditionally been at El Paso High Centralized School. And we're going to be there from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's about an hour. And it's just athletes get together, football players, we call it jerseys and jeans. They put on their jerseys, they go out there in jeans, and we just all get together in a circle. We talk. Colin Deaver joined us last year, and it was really neat. They just want to assemble, and it being the 5th year anniversary this year, I think it's going to have a little special meaning. Last year, the attendance, and of course, a lot of these athletes are attending camps or out of town. They're back in school, so the attendance last year wasn't as much as big as year 1, 2, and 3, and not including the COVID year. And we're hoping to spike back up this year. Hopefully, if this show helps. And the posting I'm about to post on social media, we expect hopefully a big crowd out there.
So you just wrapped up City Lights. This is another one of your annual events that you do. And again, all this is to give athletes exposure on their own social media platforms and stuff like that. How did the shoots go? What changed this year compared to previous years?
You know what? Every year, and this is the thing, we make it a family thing. We emphasize bring your parents because we at the end of the night, after all the shoots, we assemble all the athletes with the parents, and we'll have a family shoot with all the athletes, and it's really nice, and they get to see the kids, and we're very selective because we have we have over 300-400 messages that come in say, hey, can I get on City Lights? And we have to select the proven athletes, the ones that are out there, the marquee players, the who's who of athletes. And some guys are they accept right away. Some other guys are busy, so we know scheduling is tough right now. But we just wrapped up. We've had 5 sessions. We had 2 for football, 1 for cheer, 1 for volleyball, and we did cross country this year. Kudos to cross country. They're always overlooked. And right, we did cross country. Now people are asking about golf, tennis, and swimming. So it's never ending requests or demands, right?
Yeah, I totally understand. We're talking a lot of the positives here, Jesse. Mm-hmm. What you do to help recruit or help just provide exposure for some of these athletes or whatever it might be. But the downside to this is everybody has social media. All these athletes are on social media constantly. Yeah. You tell me if there's parents out there who are listening who have kids who play sports and have social medias, what are some of the things that are no-nos? What are some of the things that you emphasize most with Prep One?
Well, I tell athletes again, you have to make sacrifices, and you're going to have to make sacrifices as far as they're spending too much time gaming. They're spending too much time on TikTok and Instagram, which are they're fine platforms. However, we all know that Twitter's the way to go. That's where college coaches are at. But there's so many athletes that are out there, and they're spending 10 hours a day, 5 to 10 hours a day. And I tell these athletes that like every week you're spending 70 hours a week on social media, and that's just equates to how many hours you're not spending on recruiting. So it's just a matter of working on highlights, working on impact plays. Make sure your highlights are not too long. Make sure you only have about a 20-second window to impress a coach, to capture a coach, and want to know a little bit about the athlete. One time I had an athlete that was flipping tires. His dad had a truck tractor tire in the backyard. He flipped the tire from one end of the yard to the other. He posted that. He ended up talking to a coach that saw that, and he ended up getting an offer from flipping tires. So you just never know what coaches are looking for.
And they're looking for things that are not traditional game footage. They're looking for stuff that's like, are you training out?
Yes,
are you working out and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Those are big things. Now, you tell me, when it comes to just connecting with coaches, what is your biggest advice or recommendation for some of these athletes to get seen, to have those contacts with those coaches at the next level?
Well, they got to be honest with themselves. You got to get rid of that D1 or bust mentality. Any opportunity to continue your education is a blessing. And some athletes have to understand that not every offer is going to be close to home. And are you willing to make that adjustment? Are you willing to move away from home, from the nest, and understanding that your parents may not be able to go watch too many of your games? And just little factors like that, weather. If you're a summer guy, if you're going to be out in Minnesota and Ohio and stuff, it's going to impact your way of living, because you're going to be living out there in the dorms. And then again, it's just so many components when it comes down to recruiting. I wish I had more time, but no, it's a strategy. And you have to guide the athletes and their families and see what's the right fit for them. And at the same time, is the school the right fit for the coaches?
Jesse Tovar, CEO, founder of Prep One, who's joining us right now. Want to ask you about Media Day for Prep One. This is coming up Sunday, August 18th. This is another thing that we're going to have on our calendar right now that you came by to talk about in particular. After this week, all your focus goes to Media Day. And we know how busy you get for Media Day itself. So tell us what's different this time around at Media Day and what we should expect.
Well, every year, this is our 3rd year at the Coliseum. This is our 5th Media Day, I believe. And it started with an idea with one of our photogs, Sammy Espinosa, during COVID. And these kids we weren't going to see them anymore. And we didn't know what was going to happen. He's like, hey, why don't we have a little Media Day? And to funnel all those and navigate all those athletes to not get close to each other, it was a mess, but we got it done. And the next year it just spiraled onto every year it gets bigger, different concepts. We have Texas Creative Centers out there helping us out. We have a variety of talents that they come up with their own concept. They spend money on lasers, on lighting, and it's almost like a Super Bowl Media Day feel, because we just have so many teams rotating throughout the day. The 1 year at the Coliseum, we tried volleyball, football, and cheer, and it was just too much. So we narrowed it down where cheer's going to have their own media day, but this one on the 18th is going to be football and cheer. And it's a lot of fun. We're going to have a bench pressing contest out there. Crandall Fitness goes out there. They take a big rack, and the kids love it. We're going to have the mascots out there. We're going to have cheer. We're going to have football players, coaches. Cole Paso Sports is going to be out there with their podcast. We have some of the talents include My Designs Photography, Eminence Photo Media, Top Dogs, which is connected with Texas Creative Center. And then we have Isaiah Caban, Flint Productions. We have so many talents out there, Rudy Davila, that they're just thinking every year, how am I going to one-up myself next media day? And what next media? So they don't really tell me. They unveil it the day before. And last year we had a throne with flames, and it was like, man, these guys every year they go above and beyond, and I think they like to surprise me too, because I'm just in awe after I see what they're producing.
Speaking of being in awe, on social media, every time I go to your channels, I'm in awe because of so much content that's there. So for all the information when it comes to this event, August 18th, where can our listeners find more about this one right here?
Any of our Prep One USA social media network. It could be on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. We have a good following. We move the needle, and usually we put it on our Instagram and we share it. Stories are phenomenal for advertisement nowadays, right? And I know it works very well with other entities and just anything you want to promote. I'm kind of bummed that Twitter got away from the stories, because I was starting to use that a lot. But Any updates? Just keep following Prep One USA, and hopefully we'll have you guys out there this year.
Yeah, most definitely, man. We always love coming out there and getting some great content from all the players and stuff like that. So check them out. Prep One USA on Twitter and X, Prep One on Instagram and Facebook as well. Jesse Tovar joining us here as we continue. Hey, Jesse, thanks again for joining us. I really appreciate the time.
Nah, it's awesome always to stop by, and we did this in 30 minutes?
Yeah, we did this. We got it all done. Thanks for stopping by, doing this impromptu.
All right, guys.
It, man.
Have a great season.
Jesse Tovar, Prep One. We're coming back. Hour number 2 of Sports Talk as we continue here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
6 years ago. Good stuff there. Enjoyed the conversation. In fact, I got to listen to all of it on the app. I heard the beginning of the show as I was driving my car to the dealership, and hearing the rest of hour number 1 as I was coming back to the station. So very nicely done. Enjoyed that. Enjoyed the first hour of the show. Good phone calls. Gator Richard called in. That was always fun. Had a couple of other good calls in the first hour. Adrian says, this is what happens. I take off for a little while. Calls come in. I like that. That's the way it should be. So happy we got some phone calls, and happy football is back. And you tell me, how was the first day of UTEP football practice today?
It was hot, man. That's number 1. Man, I don't know how I should say this, Steve. I don't think I can tell you specific players, but guys got taken off the field, man. I mean,
really?
Whether it's injuries, whether it's just heat, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, some relevant players. I'm not saying like anything looks serious, so let me make that very clear when it comes to this. But I think it should be said. I just didn't really know how to say it, but I think those are the 2 biggest things that I took away. Very, very hot practice. I mean, everybody's sweating, from media members to players out there to the staff, the personnel, everybody. And Scotty Walden's out there in a black long sleeve dry fit from Adidas that he got for UTEP.
So in other words, he's not worried about the heat, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, he said he was actually saying and joking with us post practice that he should have made a better choice on the what he decided to wear. But nonetheless, man, we got the full dose of the Sun City today. Great to be out there, out at the Sun Bowl. They had it today. We were able to see the first 20 minutes, and then we got a chance to interview players and coaches after.
Very nice. Your takeaway from day 1, it's only day 1. I mean, we have 3 weeks of this, and I think that they might go all the way down to the wire before some of these position battles get decided.
Yeah, and the biggest headline is going to be Cade versus Skyler in the starting quarterback job. It should be the number 1 headline, storyline going into all of fall camp and then leading into the season. Scotty Walden joked today, he is hoping to make a decision by 1:28 Mountain Standard Time on August 31st. So right before kickoff against Nebraska. The reason why he's saying this is he feels like this quarterback battle is really tight tight between both Cade and Skylar. And we've unpacked both these quarterbacks in the past. I would think this, though, Steve. Today, both of them struggled. We saw at one point Skylar Locklear throw 2 interceptions back-to-back. This is just skill-related drill, nothing team-related. So I'm curious to see once they get into the team portions of their drills how they look and compare to each other. But we didn't get a chance to see enough Cade, so I couldn't tell you enough, whether or not he actually did have success or who had the better day of practice. In fact, both of them were made available to the media today, and both of them did the media scrum together. Like, they were fielding questions together, Cade and Skylar. Not awkward whatsoever. They're embracing their friendship, embracing the chemistry, and embracing this quarterback battle.
Let's play some of your clips from earlier. You put this up on Twitter and X at Adrian Broadus. Here's Scotty Walden talking about what he looks for as far as his quarterback job.
But the thing ultimately that guy's got to have, he's got to have the locker room. That's the thing to me. The players have to respect him and have to follow him and have to know when he's behind center, he's in charge, and we are going to follow that guy. And so whoever grabs that, I think you'll see grab the confidence, and then and then you'll see the stats, you'll see the playmaking ability. All those things come out because he has the team. The team has his back, and he has the team's back. And so I'm really looking for who emerges, not just so much who does well, but like one stat we're charting is touchdown drives. Not just did Skylar or Cade or JP or Shea, did they throw a touchdown or did they rush a touchdown, but did they lead that offense onto a touchdown drive? Even if it's Javon or Trish or, Jolly, whoever running the ball in for a touchdown, he led that touchdown drive. Because ultimately, too, the second part to add to that, I put a premium on, talked to the quarterbacks about it last night again, is points. If they produce points, I could care less about yards. Yards don't matter to me. If the game was decided on yards, then I'd have a totally different mindset. But the game is only decided on points. So all I care about is, are they leading their drives to touchdowns, and are they putting points on the board? So that'll be a big separating factor. And then also who grabs the pulse of the team. That'll be big.
I'm fascinated by that. Not just the fact that he's talking about the whole points thing, but I like how he started it. And he was really talking about, more than anything, who the team is behind. And that's going to be kind of interesting. Look, we know Cade's personality. And we know that he is the kind of person and leader that people will emanate to. We do. We don't know about Skylar. He could have that same personality. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. We haven't really had the opportunity, Adrian, to sit down and talk with Skylar like we've developed our last year-plus relationship with Cade. So I'll be interested to see, since that was specifically what Scotty brought up, how Skylar is able to get his units behind him the way we already know what Cade is capable of.
Yeah, when you think about Skylar, he comes and joins this team from the Austin Peay group. He never played over there at Austin Peay, except for sparingly. We've had 2 conversations with Skylar since spring practice, and the 2 times that we've seen him, he's a leader by example. He's more of a quiet, calm, but he wants to fire up his team in his own way. Kind of reminds me a little of Gavin Hardison, and I thought Gavin was a great leader at times, and I thought that, certain levels, when you talk about things like what Scotty Walden just mentioned right there, winning the locker room, winning the respect of everybody, those are the biggest things right there. For Cade, we all know it. Like, he's infectious as far as who he is right there, but if his abilities on the field aren't up to par, then it's going to be Skylar's job and vice versa. So at one point, Coach Walden was talking about just who's playing better and who wasn't. I was really impressed that Trey Goodman earlier had given a good shout out to somebody like Shea Smith, the freshman, who's coming on nicely in that quarterback room.
Excellent. Let's hear more from Coach Walden about the quarterback position.
And then the reason why I answer that way, the reason why I say that now is every single time I have felt like, all right, so-and-so's pulling away with it. Because I felt that way about 2 to 3 times now. Okay, I see the separation starting to occur because I've been in a lot of quarterback battles. I've coached a lot of guys who have been in those decisions. And when you start to see one start to emerge, usually he takes it, and I'm like, there it is. Every single time the other guy comes back, battles back, and proves me wrong, I'm like, oh, hold on now. And it's amazing to me. And, so I just, Skylar and Cade, and I mean this, they can't, we are so blessed to have. And, again, I know we have to put one out there, but I think, and, again, I don't know everybody's quarterback room, but I think we may have the deepest quarterback room in the conference. I mean, we are super deep. And I know you only play one guy, and some people say if you got 4 quarterbacks, you got none. It's like, I don't know if I believe that, man. I've been in the storm where I had to play my fifth string, sixth string guys, so I'm very blessed to have a room like that. But these guys are so competitive. So to be transparent with you, I truly believe it's not going to be to that game week, and it's not going to be leading up to that game. And that's not just me trying to hide my card. That's because I truly believe these guys are going to battle every day. They are tenacious in the meeting room, and they are tenacious on the field. And so I don't think one of them, even if one of them gets a jump on the other one ain't going to go away. And that's how I want it to be.
We might have 4 weeks of this before this whole thing is decided. By the way, great audio today. Excellent work. I don't know if you clipped them or not, but whatever you did, that worked out great because that audio was as good as it gets.
Thank you. I think I give all the credit to my mics, man. They've been a great investment. But as far as that answer right there, I agree. I mean, it's 4 weeks worth of quarterback competition that we're going to get. I mean, when we saw both of those guys, Cade and Skylar, walking off, they looked like they would just walked out of war. Like, I'm not kidding. And I'm saying that lightly, but like, you know, these guys right here gave it their all today at practice. Like, both of them looked a little like they were walking with a bit of a gimp. Yeah. And it's more of a testament to now. We're talking about putting on pads, Steve. We're talking about putting on helmets and actually hitting each other. Dana Dimel and his philosophy for UTEP football was never hitting. Don't touch anybody. Yep. We don't want any injuries. For this coaching staff right here, they're being physical. And I'm not saying we're talking about run plays yet or in the trenches just yet, but they're being physical out there, and they're getting after it. And I think that's what you want to see. This is a gladiator type of sport right here in football. You got to hit, and you got to be willing to get hit if you're a player out there.
Let's hear more. Here's Cade McConnell and Skylar Locklear after practice.
Well, like I said earlier, of course, like this is the worst we're going to be. This is the least plays. This is the least personnel we're going to have installed at this moment right now. We're day one, so we're going to get much more complex. We want to get more explosive, of course. First day, we're getting used to it, the heat, the wear and tear on our bodies. But what I want to see is us continue to grow together and continue to be able to go fast and not have to think about what's the play or where do I go. Just you hear the play and you know it, and so we can move fast.
I think I'd like to see this offense move from that little last bit of the learning phase that we're in into the polishing phase, whereas we're running clean plays, we're not having missed assignments or wrong routes or anything like that, or misreads or something along those lines. I want to see us play fast, and I want to see us play really sound football. And if a play doesn't work out, maybe it's because the defense made a great play or they had good coverage, not because we messed up something on our end. When we get to that point, the way that this offense is designed, how fast it is, how explosive it is, how unique it is, it's going to run like a well-oiled machine.
Good stuff. That again is Cade along with Skylar Locklear. As far as Trey Goodman, he also had a chance to talk a little bit to the media after practice. And Trey, who's going to be a great soundbite for his years with the Miners, had this to say.
See us far from where we are right now. Like I said, I think we're heading in the right direction, but we got a lot of room to grow. As of day one, I feel all right because we came out here, we gave effort, we pushed through, we were up here in the heat and the elevation. The good thing about today is that it's only day one. Obviously we have space to go, we got room to grow, just like everybody else. If everybody else is clicking on their first day of camp, then there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Then I feel bad for them because on the back end it's just going to be very flat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody starts off at some point. And no one finishes in the same spot, because if they finish in the same spot, then that means they're really diminishing. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. You know what I'm saying? So when we're here and we're giving effort and we're executing at the level, we might not be executing at the level we don't want to yet. That's okay, because that's how you grow. That's how you learn. You get better from failing. And each opportunity, that's why I call them opportunities, not practice. Each opportunity is a chance to get better. And that's why we don't play Nebraska tomorrow. That's a good thing. So.
Wow. What do you say to that?
Man, he's either going to be a great head coach or a president, Steve. One of the two. I mean, the way he could spin questions and the way Trey Goodman answers those, that's a seasoned pro, right? I mean, Cade's one thing, but that's like taking it to a very, very high level. Like, I'm very impressed by Trey Goodman. This is one of my just assessments from practice. Somebody's going to wear the number 2, the Babe Laufenberg, the Luke Laufenberg remembrance number to honor the player who passed away, who played for Dana Dimel, but now they're going to continue the tradition. He's my number 1 option for this one right here.
I was going to say Trey Goodman makes the most sense. In all honesty, he's the guy I would think would be perfect as the Luke Laufenberg jersey number this year.
I think so too, man. I feel like with Trey Goodman, he's married. When's the last UTEP married player we've ever remembered? I mean, I think we got to go like 2015, 16 with Sears. I was talking with Brett Bloomquist about this, Josh Sears, but it's been a while. And he's also expecting a child on the way, so a very mature individual, and he's going to be a standout player on this team, either way.
I like the fact that the team isn't sugarcoating things also, and they realize that practice one is a rough one, and it's going to take a while, but that's what it's all about. I mean, these guys have only been doing workouts this summer. They haven't had a chance to do any team drills, so it's the first time as a group, as a unit, they've been together.
Yeah, I felt like they got humbled to start things off because Coach Walden was getting on them for trash in the locker rooms, the brand new ones, and trash on the field that was left behind. So the team had to pay for it, and Trey Goodman said, no, we didn't have to pay for it. We accepted the challenge for it. So they accepted these different challenges, doing up, downs, and all that in 100-degree plus weather as a punishment. I'll call it what it was, a punishment for leaving trash behind.
How they trash a brand new uniform now, the new locker rooms that look so good?
Maybe just humbled them, right? Like, get a little excited. Hey, we're so happy, we've got things that we just left behind out there. No, I don't think this coaching staff was very, very happy about that at all.
17 past as we get going here in hour 2 of Sports Talk. 505-6009. More in a moment, but first, Charlie 1 back with traffic. For over an inning, Brian from downtown was listening to the audio. He weighed in and said 0 is not a number.
Ooh, so now we're starting to get some debates here. Okay.
By the way, if 0 is not a number, then should athletes be allowed to even wear it? Let's be honest. If you only should be able to wear numbers in sports, right? That's just the way it works. And I've seen 0 and I've seen 00. Does that mean they're wearing double integers and double not a numbers? I mean, is that the way that works? So,
I guess so, but I mean, I personally think the jersey number of 0 looks cool in a lot of players. I think it was Patrick Peterson who had that with the Vikings for a little bit, or Byron Murphy. I could be wrong there, but I just think it looks cool, smooth, and a lot of the players seem to like it too.
Ask Mo Westmoreland about what wearing 0 is all about here at UTEP.
I feel like the most popular number 0 wearer is probably Russell Westbrook, probably. Yeah. I would think so. And then if not him, maybe we go Westmoreland right behind him. But either way, I think it looks sick on Westmoreland because he's a pass rusher.
So maybe the thing is this. If you want to be technical and say 0 is not a number, sports disagrees. Because in sports, they allow the use of 0. In all sports. I've seen it in everyone. Every single sport out there. Baseball, you don't see it as much. But I've seen it in hockey. I've seen it in football. I see it all the time in football. And you say we see it in basketball. So, I mean, it's tough. Because when you think about, like number 1 to 10, you don't start with 0. You start with 1. I mean, what is 0? 0 is really when you're working problems and you have 4 minus 4 or something that just equals nothing. That's what it is. Because the truth is, what is 0? It's nothing.
Very true.
You just can't put a jersey that says nothing on the back of your shirt, so it's got to have something, so there it is.
I feel like it's an interesting debate. I think we have to take this further with Tim Haggerty. I kind of consider it a number, but then I'm thinking roulette now, Steve. Like now I'm going into different things.
Yep.
And roulette will penalize you if you go 0 or 00, and that's nothing. Hey, you bet on red, you bet on black. Doesn't matter if you go 0s or 00s. That's all that counts.
When I shoot pool, there is no 0. It starts with a 1.
Good point. Mm-hmm.
When you have a deck of cards, there is no 0. It's 1 through 10, then your face cards. You want to call a joker a 0? That's fine. It's a joker. It's not a 0.
You don't say 0 hitter in baseball.
That's true.
You say a no hitter in baseball.
That's right. You don't give up 0 hits. You give up no hits. It's a good point. Good point. So think about it. When there's a 0-2 count, they say no balls, 2 strikes. So, or 3 balls, no strikes. It's always no. It's not 0 strikes.
on this show we're supposed to say, Chapin's leading Franklin 7-0 on Football
that's right.
Friday
Or
night.
or they're shutting them out, or they're blanking them. That's right.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
You know, you're saying, they're winning 7-0.
I know it's an interesting debate. Like I think we should be the mediators on these mathematician message boards. And by the way, how does Tim Haggerty get on mathematician message boards?
Tim, let me say this, okay? There's a lot about Tim Haggerty we don't know.
It's true. He's probably looking some Pearl Jam stuff and found himself there.
Maybe so. By the way, their big album was called 10, not 0. 10. So
good point. Yeah,
that's what started their career off. So Brian from downtown follows up with this: I'm waiting for a player to ask for a hashtag, ampersand, and or other placeholder for a digit. How good? Now he's right. When are we going to see an athlete who is going to have the number sign, the hashtag, as their number? So they're just going to be hashtag.
It could happen, or maybe like an @ like instead, like the @ username or something like that, exclamation point, something along those lines could happen. Maybe not. Maybe $sign if they're a big or a highly paid NIL player or something like that.
Don't you think that would have been done already with some of these athletes that just all they do is flash the $sign emoji when they're getting paid?
Yes,
That's it.
I feel like there's trends in numbers, trends in styles, trends in all that. We're currently going through the 0 trend right now.
At least we don't have emojis as identification symbols on jerseys.
Thank goodness. The last thing I want to see is an emoji on the back of somebody's name or something like that. The tongue sticking out emoji. Get out of here. No way.
Okay, so let's review this for 1 second. In my answer is this: 0 is not a number unless it's a sports jersey or sports uniform, because that's the one exception to the rule. That's where they have made it something for years, where it has been part of the jersey number system. So, I don't know who the first ever 0 was, but we should maybe look into that and find out who was the first ever athlete to wear a 0 on their jersey. But sports has always had different rules than the rest of life. So I'll say no as far as a number, but sports feels differently. What about you guys?
I'm also looking at the list of athletes who've worn 0 in their career, and these are some notable names. Of course, Russell Westbrook being the most notable one. Robert Parrish back in the 70s. Damian Lillard, of course, with the Blazers. I mean, there's been a lot of notable players, and even Jason Tatum too, who's an NBA Finals champion. So there's a lot of players that dig the number 0.
What does that mean? Does that mean that you're saying it is a number or it's not a number? Or
I don't think it is a number.
Okay. Got it. How about you, Adrian?
I'll go number just to be different, just so we have a debate. And I truly don't. I would say you can't quantify it, but it's a number out there. If you're going to put it on a jersey, then it counts as a number. We will never say it in journalism. We'll never say it here on this radio station, but we're saying nothing instead of 0.
Fair enough. All right. It's Sports Center time. I'm looking to see who is the first person who ever wore the number 0 in sports. I want to see where this whole thing started. It's an interesting point, right? To go figure out who was the first one to ever do it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I got to do some digging on this one on my side.
I'll find out.
Sports,
okay. Interesting. I think I found out who the first NFL player was, which is a little surprising. We'll talk about that right after we get to Sports Center. Here he is, Michael Plendo, standing by. Bottom of the hour as we continue. So, I'm looking at the history of 0. It's such a fun topic. Apparently, believe it or not, the first individual to ever wear 0 wore 00. And it was New York Rangers goalie John Davidson, who later became a very popular analyst for the Rangers in the NHL. He wore it in the 77-78 season, okay? Playing goal for the Rangers. Now, you might even say before him, Dave Gamby played for the Portland Trail Blazers in the 70s. He is the first known player in basketball to wear the number 0. And I have no idea who Dave Gamby was. I've never heard of him.
I'm going to throw you another one, Steve. when we're talking in the 40s, we're talking about the wing tee offenses in the NFL or in college football, whatever it is, old school style, run the ball down everybody's throat. In 1946 through 1948, Johnny Clement was nicknamed Mr. Zero. He wore a zero uniform from 46 through 48 for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow, that's a good piece of trivia. I like that. I like that a lot. By the way, I don't know if the Dave Gamby story is correct. I'm looking it up. He played from 58 to 70, and all I see is all the only jersey numbers I've seen him wear was 30, 20, 25, 33, and 12. So that I think that I'm already calling shenanigans on that story.
Yeah, I feel like when 1973 came around, that's when the NFL actually said, all right, these are the numbers you have to follow. These are the things that you actually have to do. It was only 2021 when they allowed zero to be a jersey number, and then, of course, college jumped on board the year after that, so that was 2022. So this is fairly recent, Steve, as far as just being allowed to have and wear the number zero. And in fact, for the NBA and stuff like that, I'd be curious when they re-allowed it or it started to allow it again when it came to basketball.
Al Oliver wore the number zero for the Texas Rangers in 1978, 79, 80, 81. Then he wore it for the Expos for 2 seasons, the Phillies for a season, the Giants that same season, and then his final year, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. So he was the original zero in baseball, although there have been many since, but Al Oliver was the first to do it. We did have plenty of guys in the 80s wearing it, including UL Washington. He wore it with the Pirates in 86, and the person that's worn it the longest is Adam Ottavino. Ottavino has pitched since 2013, so 12 seasons as zero.
Okay, I like it.
And in the NFL, the first player ever to wear the jersey number zero, Marvin Jones, who wore it on a Thursday night in the NFL's opening game between the Lions and the Chiefs.
I like it. Now, this is interesting. How about this? When they first allowed players to wear zero in the NFL, some players said, actually, I don't think zero's a number. I'm using zero as an O. So Calvin Ridley told reporters that his middle name is Oren, and he wanted to link it to his family. So he wears number zero, not for zero, but he wears it for the letter O. How about that?
I like that, too. That's good. This is interesting, and Nelson brings this up, but Robert Parrish did go double zero.
I like that. I like the double zero out there. Rocking the 2. That's cool.
Okay. He always wore double zero, wore that his whole career. And that was from 1976 all the way to 1997.
No Cowboy player has wore zero yet, to my understanding or to my knowledge, which is interesting.
Really?
I don't think so. I can't think. I was trying to look that up right now.
Do we know who the first UTEP player was to wear zero?
No, I don't. I don't know who the first one was.
It's another piece of random weird trivia that we can get into. Boy, Hags, he's opened up a whole Pandora's box on this one, hasn't he?
He really has, per usual. I mean, this is like a story time that we kind of jumped the gun. So if tomorrow he just starts talking numbers, then we know where he's going.
Yeah, we do.
Jeremiah Ballard, first player, and Maurice Westmoreland last year for UTEP.
Oh, nobody ever wore zero before Ballard?
I think that was the only time it was actually allowed. So I'm looking at 2022 is when the NFL allowed it. I thought, or I seem to remember, it was a year after. But yeah, that's when it was. So those guys, Jeremiah Ballard and Maurice Westmoreland, they both wore zero at the same time.
Funny enough, John Davidson was my first favorite Ranger. So I almost wanted a double zero jersey, not because of the number, but because that was the number J.D. wore in 77, 78. He later changed, I think, to 30, and I have no idea why he even picked double zero, but J.D. was double zero for the Rangers in the late 70s.
Did it look cool? Did people jump on board?
Oh, my God. If I showed you this photo of J.D. wearing zero, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. But, yes, there was... and apparently, fans would joke about zero and double zero being his IQ.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like Mr. Zero chance. Hearing that from the fans, I could see that.
And apparently he said he wore 00, the 2 zeros, because Phil Esposito wore 77 and Ken Hodge had 88. So he felt that 00 would be kind of fitting to what some of those players were wearing because those are his heroes.
I kind of like the 0 approach, but are we going to swing the other way at some point and everybody's going to go like 99 or, 90, 98, just like the higher numbers as well? Like we're going to see like shift. Everybody's going to want to be a trendsetter with this right here.
I think so too. I think so. All right. 20 in front of 6 as Sports Talk continues. We'll come back with more in a moment. Stay with us. 600 ESPN El Paso. Kate Flannery is in town. Get a chance to meet the Office star. We had her on the show. She is a terrific person, a lot of fun, and definitely somebody that I think the fans are going to love tonight. She is excited about being here. She is already acclimating herself well to El Paso. Had some Mexican food earlier today, so she's ready to roll for tonight's game as the Chihuahuas get ready to play the Oklahoma City Baseball Club.
That sounds weird. That just sounds weird, Steve. But it doesn't sound weird that she's going from The Office, Kate Flannery. That's awesome stuff. But the Oklahoma Baseball Club? Come on, man. Dodgers. Keep the Dodgers.
Please, I know. I'm with you. Hey, by the way, tomorrow, 10 a.m., dining deals is going to be amazing. Double Eagle Restaurant. Adrian, have you set your timer and gotten that ready to go? Is it on your calendar?
I need to do it right now, as you mentioned it, Steve. It would have been on my calendar or a reminder, later tonight as I was planning my day for tomorrow, but now it is, and we're going to get it done. We're going to get the Double Eagle certificate. We're going to take advantage of $50 for only paying $25 here, thanks to dining deals, because I want another amazing dining experience like we had earlier this week out at the Double Eagle, whether it's their great appetizers, their delicious margaritas, their terrific entrees, or their delicious dessert. I want to try it all.
I'm going to throw a sample of the menu at you, folks. This is what you can enjoy. So you could start with like small plates, like their green chili cheese wontons. They've got roasted artichokes. They have crab stuffed mushrooms, Italian calamari, firecracker shrimp, and so much more. They also have a cheese board, bison sausage. The salads are terrific. They do a tableside Caesar for one, a roasted green chili chowder soup. And then here comes the fun, okay? House favorite, chicken masia. They have chicken marsala. They have pan-seared duck breast. They have roast pheasant under glass. That's right, served under a glass dome. That sounds incredible. Sea bass, blackened mahi-mahi, Pacific salmon. That long bone short rib is spectacular. And then lobster tail, lobster mac and cheese, a tempura chile relleno, cremini mushrooms, about 4 different kinds of potatoes, however you want them. And then the steaks. The steak and lobster is terrific. They've got a baseball cut sirloin. They have the Double Eagle ribeye. And then they've got that tomahawk, Adrian, that they brought out. The tomahawk ribeye for 2, which was served and cut tableside.
That was so fantastic, man. And the way that they were carving it up and serving it to us. For me, Steve, I take my steaks, I take my tomahawks rare with the capital R. And the one that we had was just fantastic. I loved it.
It was. And by the way, whether it's the Bananas Foster served tableside, they also have creme brulee, flourless chocolate cake, layered lemon cheesecake, mile-high cheesecake, and so much more. Telling you what, save room for dessert because those desserts are spectacular. It is just an unforgettable dining experience in Mesilla at the Double Eagle Restaurant.
It's so much fun, man, just to take the trip out there, to see just the beautiful old Mesilla, to have a chance to go there itself, the little haunted rooms as well. I mean, there's so many cool things about the Double Eagle.
Yeah, no doubt. So again, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Check it out on Dining Deals, the must-read bar at 600 ESPNElPaso.com. You guys talked Olympics earlier. Been watching it every night. That's been it. That's the programming. And man, gymnastics is amazing. Everybody seems to really be digging swimming with Katie Ledecky. See how she won yesterday, and she won by like 5 seconds? She distanced herself so far that by the time she finished and crossed the line, they panned out, showed the fans, and then by the time they came back, the second place was just getting ready to finish. And it was like second and third. France finished second. I forget who finished third. And it was like 5 seconds after Ledecky.
Most decorated American woman in Olympic history is now Katie Ledecky. That's awesome stuff. And what she was able to do. The 4x200 meter freestyle relay was what she recently competed in, Steve. But yeah, I saw that one that you're mentioning. She's skunking everybody right now. That's the best way to put it.
How about Simone Biles winning today in the all-around? Big for her because second gold medal in the event, third woman to earn the title multiple times, first to do it in non-consecutive years. How about that for the 27-year-old?
For Simone Biles, she had so much hate the previous Olympics when she pulled out and she didn't compete for the gymnastics team. Steve, I feel like we put so much light on just the controversial and the negative topics that we don't really celebrate how great of an accomplishment it is, like Simone Biles, to come back at this and then compete at the highest levels. Like look at that right there. It's all these girls who are cheering and so excited watching Simone Biles go crazy for Team USA and the gymnastics.
Oh, man, it's been amazing. By the way, one other note for Double Eagle. We should mention this. This is important. Sal took his wife Salma there for her birthday. Strongly recommends.
Nice. There we go.
Big endorsement from our pal Sal Montes.
It was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sal. Amazing. And we'll look forward to seeing Sal back at the radio station again here soon as we continue with more sports talk. So, yes, Olympics are definitely something that we're tracking, we're following, we're enjoying. And, man, I mean, can't get enough of it. It's great. And whether you're watching on the Peacock app, whether you're watching it just on the local television on NBC, KTSM, and just watching their coverage, no matter what you're doing, I mean, it's 2 weeks of quality TV. That's the best way to put it.
USA in the lead right now, 37 overall medals, Steve. That's a good thing itself. And they're catching up in the golds as well. They have 9 gold medals. China's got 11, so a little bit of work to do. But, yeah, I feel like U.S. is in a good place right now, out in Paris for the Olympics.
Very nice. Oh, listen to this. This comes from GMAR24. Hey, fellas, on the zero jersey topic. Big 00 Jim Otto, the greatest Oakland Raiders, Hall of Famer. So there it is. And then Esteban says, a recommendation, The Nothing That Is, A Natural History of Zero by Robert Kaplan is a good read. So Esteban giving us a little reading material here on the radio show.
He's back. He missed out a vacation, and he's back with us. So, Esteban, we're ready for the fall. We're ready for you, man.
Chris R. at Chris Banks 21 debating on whether or not zero is a number would have been a great discussion with Bill Walton.
Great tweet.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Post.
Love that. All right, 2 down, 30 minutes to go. We'll take you home and get you ready for El Paso Chihuahuas baseball. You want in on the program? We'd love to hear from you. 505-6009. Football is here. Hall of Fame game tonight. Chihuahuas baseball as well. Walker Bueller on the bump. Should be a packed house at Southwest University Park. We'll have it for you right here. 600 ESPN El Paso. Once again, tonight, Houston and Chicago. That game's going to be on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus right now. Hey, by the way, when was the last time you picked up our cable remote here at the radio station?
Been a while, Steve. What's wrong with it?
Somebody's been chewing on it.
There's a chewer among us, Steve.
Is there really?
Yes, there is. There is a chewer among us. And as a chewer, I chew on pens sometimes, but it takes one to know one. And I'm not that kind of a chewer, but I know who this is.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you could guess who it is, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Adds to the weird and mystery about him, that's for sure.
We need to ask him this next Monday.
Yeah, I got to ask him. I'll ask him tomorrow morning when I show up at 8:30, 9 o'clock on Buzz. I'll find out about that. Same person you're talking about, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking
that
of?
same person. That same person.
Yeah, because I'm like looking at this remote, and he somehow bit it like right at the top, right where that little like sensor is, where the light is that connects to the device. Like there's just teeth marks everywhere, which means he's like doing this and like, how the heck do you gnaw on a cable remote? How do you do
it's
that?
Like so dirty, man. It's like so that cable remote has never been cleaned before ever. So.
Have you ever? Do you see what? Have you seen what he's done?
haven't seen this. I need to go.
Hey,
see
Michael,
this.
come here for a second. Michael, come here. You need to come in here. Grab this remote and bring it in to Adrian. So you and Adrian can take.
We have a
look at
couple
this.
pens here that I just throw away,
God,
Steve.
it's
So
gross.
so
Here.
we
look
get,
at that. Take that back to Adrian. You can look at it yourself. Other side, pal. And there you go. You can see no other one. That's there. You go. That's the yes. Go show Adrian that one, and maybe it's disgusting. I mean,
yeah. Look, see, I'm pulling random pens. So like I was just doing a quick survey, Steve. Random pen. I got a chew mark right here.
Really? Okay, fine. Look at this.
Oh no, this isn't like lie. This is like he's gnawing on this. Like
yes.
said. Oh man.
That's like gopher teeth. Like, how's he doing that, man? I mean, that means, you know what that means? Because that's not just gnawing. That means you're probably sticking it into the side of your mouth and just biting on it like with your, with your top molars while you're, I got to find out what he's doing. I really do. So I gotta know what's going on, man.
We're a pen graveyard in my control room. And in fact, if people wonder, like, "Whoa, Adrian, you actually have pens on you," it's because of this. I was, one day I came in, I saw a bunch of pens chewed up, and I was thinking to myself, as a chewer myself, I understand. I got to keep my pens on me because I don't want to make sure. I want to make sure I'm not chewing on something that's been chewed on before or anything like that.
Do you know I just got a picture from Pinky with him and Alberto at the ball game right now, drinking beers.
This is so on brand. This is like I don't think they knew the timing, but this is so on brand.
They each have a Dos Equis with in a glass with salt on the rim and some lime, and they're just and of course Alberto's got his Schoolyard Sports with Lane Frank hat on and his Miners soccer T-shirt. Guy's living the life, man. For somebody who makes no money, at least Alberto is living the life at this radio station.
He has a great time. He lives life in the best way possible. So, good stuff, Alberto.
I'm happy for him. Meanwhile, I'm looking right now at Troy Aikman in his Hall of Fame jacket, Joe Buck to his left. They've got the game going right now between Houston and Chicago. We've got football back today, and maybe that's the best takeaway of everything is tonight. You've got Chihuahuas baseball with Walker Buehler pitching in 30 minutes. You've got the Hall of Fame game. You have the Olympics. You've got Major League Baseball. There's just so much quality on right now.
There is. I mean, now we're talking about also off the field too. So we got a little Hard Knocks right around the corner. The real Hard Knocks, I should say and mention for sure, Steve. But I'm just happy. I'm happy that we've got football back. This is always a great time of year, and then the Olympics has blessed us with that coverage as well. So we get to talk daily about the Olympics. We get to sprinkle in training camp coverage. We get to talk fall camp with UTEP, and we get to talk, of course, Chihuahuas baseball with some baseball going on.
It's the best. Is the absolute best. All right. 505-6009, our telephone number if you want to get into the show. We'd love to hear from you. 505-6009. Esteban with a really good message. Steve, don't let Adrian use your Mont Blancs. Don't worry, Esteban. That's not happening. There is no way I'm going to let him munch on my Mont Blanc. That's not going to happen. So,
is that a really nice pen? I'm sorry. I'm not a pen guy.
Oh, it's one of the best. It's my go-to pen. It's the pen that I use all the time at work. It's my black pen. It's a very well-known pen. Got it from my dad. My dad used to sell them back in the days when we first moved here, and he had Schaefer pens, Mont Blancs, Dunhill lighters. Those are the big three. So I had the Mont Blancs. So, yes, don't worry. I will not let Adrian I'm not going to let him use my Mont Blanc.
Well, hey, don't let Alberto, Steve.
Oh, dude.
Forget about me. I mean, hey, me. Look, if you looked in my backpack, you'd say, okay, there's some chew marks here and there. It's nothing crazy. This is like, this is gopher, this is beaver kind of stuff.
It is gross, man. Well, I mean, listen, I get it, though. It is. I'm okay with people that want to chew on a pen. I've just never seen anybody do to that cable remote what's happened. Like my son, when he was younger, would chew on his straws, which are on like his thermoses and stuff, and I'd be like, "Come on, grow out of that." And now he's not chewing on it much anymore, which is good. But I can't even imagine, like, if I came home and I saw that my television remote was all bit up, oh, that'd be the end of that.
You know, I'm laughing as well,
it.
Steve, because like as soon as you say that, I just hear Tim's like audio in the background pop up, and it's like the perfect timing for all of this right here. So yeah, this is gonna be great. You know, maybe we'll ask Hags if he's ever done this before.
I'll find out. I will. I'll ask him. I guarantee you this: he's never chewed on his scorebook. That I guarantee you.
I guarantee that too.
That scorebook is immaculate. You know that. All right, let's go to Jerry on the mobile. He joins us next as Sports Talk continues. 10 past the hour. Jerry, welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. Jerry, are you a biter like some of these people at this radio station? Do you like to bite pens and all this other stuff? No?
Yeah, I really don't. I did it maybe in grade school or something like that. I never did it after that.
Yeah, in other words, you grew out of it when you were like becoming a teenager.
I sure did. I grew out of it, Steve. I did. Well, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the Dodgers picking up Flaherty from the Detroit Tigers?
I thought it was great. They gave up nothing to get him. Zero. Like they gave up some B prospect and then somebody else. I'm like, I thought that the Dodgers stole Jack Flaherty. I was very impressed. I know the Yankees were scared off by his medicals, but the Dodgers did a really good job with that.
Oh, that's great. And I think this is the year Dave Roberts has got to win the World Series or bust, man. That's it.
Yeah, you think they'll fire him if he doesn't win?
Oh, I think so. I really do. I think he's on the hot seat if they don't win the World Series. They've got the team. I mean, they're loaded. They really are. And I think this is the year. I've had a couple of disappointments. As you know, I'm a big Dodger fan, and I think this is the year that they get it done. So I'm looking forward to it. Also, I'm really disappointed that some of the sports writers and network guys on sports picked the Steelers to finish last in their division, and I just can't understand that. I mean, they had really crummy quarterbacks last year, and they made the playoffs. Now you've got Russell Wilson, you've got Justin Fields, and they've got a great defense coming up, and Arthur Smith is a great coach. I think he's great, and I think there's going to be a big improvement there for the Steelers.
Let me say this, okay? That's a really, really good division. I mean, between the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Browns, I feel like this could be one of those rare seasons where 3 of these 4 teams all go to the playoffs.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the Ravens are loaded, and I mean, picking up Derrick Henry, man, that was a huge pickup. And I think this year Lamar Jackson is out to prove something,
No, I agree.
He really is. Absolutely. So I can hardly wait, Steve. I'm so glad that football is here now.
That makes
I'm ecstatic.
I think that makes 4 of us. Everybody in this on this show is excited that football's back. In
Absolutely.
fact, I'm the commissioner of a fantasy football league, and they're antsy. They're chomping at the bit, wondering when's the draft, what's the off season like. I gotta get that email out today. So thanks for the reminder.
Absolutely. And I'm looking for big things from George Pickens, our wide receiver.
Yep.
I think he's going to do great this year. I think he's going to really ball out, and he's going to be one of the top receivers in the league.
What do you think, Pro Bowl?
I think he'll make the Pro Bowl this year. I really do.
All right. Good prediction. I like George Pickens, too. He's got unbelievable ability. The only thing with George is he just has to put it together week after week. I feel like certain weeks he dominates and looks like the best player at his position, right. And then other weeks, he only gets 1 or 2 catches and is upset about it, and then all of a sudden, the controversy is, hey, why aren't they throwing to Pickens more?
Right, exactly. But we've got 2 good running backs.
Yeah, that's true.
Jaylen Warren, and you've got Najee Harris. I think it's going to be a good year, Steve. I really do.
I'm looking forward to it. Good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Now you got me excited.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve. Good show.
All right,
appreciate
Jerry.
it.
Take care, man. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you. I know I saw just now the clapping going on by Michael Plundo when George Pickens was just brought up by Jerry on a mobile.
I'm very high on George Pickens this year as well. I think he's in a much better situation now that Matt Canada is not running this offense. A proven offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith, who led some elite groups in Tennessee and helping guys like Ryan Tannehill even have good seasons, and Tannehill's not in the league anymore. So right. I'm all for the Steelers bouncing back, and I'm optimistic that they can have a good season, but it's going to rely on the quarterback position. Can Russell Wilson hold up? And if he doesn't, can Justin Fields step up to the plate? Because the Steelers, Steve, they don't play a divisional opponent till week 11 of the season, and from that stretch on, it's a very hard schedule. So we'll see what they can do and what they're made of.
Well, I'm excited, and I think it's going to be great when it's all said and done. So, yes, that although you realize that division is a killer. It is, and that is, if you win that division, that would really be an accomplishment considering who's in the division, assuming everybody stays healthy. That's the one thing. Burrow's been out the last couple of years with injuries, and that's kind of leveled the playing field for Cincinnati. If he can be healthy for 16 games, that completely changes their outlook. The Browns were fun last year. Of course, the Ravens are the Ravens. Look, the Steelers could finish last and still be 9-8. That's realistic.
Very. And, the Browns with arguably the best defense last year. And I will say this about the Ravens. The Steelers are 7-1 against the Ravens going back to 2020. And if you look at Lamar Jackson's record versus the Steelers, he's only beaten them one time, Steve. And that was back in 2019 in overtime where he was playing a third-string quarterback in Devlin Hodges. So the Steelers have had very good success against Lamar. Burrow has caught a couple games off of us, but they've still managed to hold up nicely against him. So the Steelers just got to get some really good offensive play. They can't lean on TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick carrying the defense because we've shown in recent years that's not going to work, and it only works for a couple weeks.
So good point. Great point. All right. When we come back, Tim Haggerty from the ballpark. We'll talk about a lot of good subjects with Tim. But first, let's get one last traffic update. Here's Charlie with the latest.
Steve, a trouble spot on the far east side, and I'm talking about I-10 East at East Lake. We have a collision. We have fire department there. This